Wait,
Hey, Soraya, I am absolutely elated and overjoyed that you could join us today. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate you stepping in to offer some value to us. Thank you so very much. I'm really excited. How do you feel as a PMP boss?
I am so relieved.
Woo!
I am very relieved. I took the exam twice before, and so a friend recommended you. Of course, I was looking at your videos already, and Tamika said, you need to check into Praizion. Phil is great, and you are. You got me
Aw.
past that point, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Soraya. I'm so overjoyed. On Sunday, I was, thinking about you, and I'm like, she has to do it. She's gonna bring home the bacon, and you did, and you did it, and I knew you were going to. But why don't you walk us through what the last week, because you were part of a boot camp we did last week,
Yes.
the immersion, and you were studying hard. So tell us what you were doing like the days before your exam.
Well, I just really listened attentively to what you reviewed in your course, and I would go back and review it on in the PMBOK and in the Agile guide because I was I didn't have a lot of time. I
Mm.
had one, I had only a couple of weeks, and this last week is when I joined the boot camp, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to have to cram all this information. And you said, don't cram, don't cram. And so I didn't. But I listened to you attentively. I made sure I understood the concepts. Sometimes I would refer back and it didn't seem like it was sticking in my brain. But during the test, it came through the information that you provided and the thought process, it worked. So I appreciate
Lovely.
that a lot.
I am so excited. So you obviously were part of the boot camp, and then I sent you this how to think for the exam. I don't know if you even listened to that because you were
I
really
did.
trying. You did. Did you find it useful?
Didn't get to listen to all of them. You sent a few messages, but I was really intent on making sure I understood what was going on, what was being said,
Wow.
and the concepts. And so on the exam, it was, I had a lot of hybrid on my
Wow.
exam and agile. So,
Wow.
yeah, not a lot of predictive alone, but I had to understand predictive in order to get the answer right.
Wow. So you saw us going through all of these Scrum, Lean, Safe, Less. I mean, just your first impression, I know you're like, thank goodness I don't have to go through this. But apart from that, were you also kind of weighing the exam doesn't really test you on those frameworks, does it? Like a lot.
Well, actually, you have to understand those frameworks though, because in the questions, I had to think it through. I had to pick out, okay, how am I going to get this information from what is it pulling from, and everything. I was listening to you for the first part of this course, this today, and actually everything that you talked about was in the exam in some
Wow.
way. Yes,
Wow.
definitely.
Wow. That is very good
Everything that you
feedback.
just
I didn't
said.
even notice when you stepped in. So had you been here from the kind of like the beginning?
Well, I came in 10 minutes late because I was trying to do something else. I'm trying to catch up with my life again after studying for the
Oh.
PMP. So,
Wow. Well, I'm really glad that you're here and you gave that feedback because a lot of times one feels I hope I'm not boring folks because I have to cover it. I don't want to skip it. And there's a temptation to want to skip it. So I'm really glad that you're corroborating that it's a good thing for us to know these agile mindsets and things.
yes, most definitely. Everything you just talked about was on that
Wow.
exam.
Wow.
And it
That,
wasn't like, do you know Kanban, do you know Scrum? No, the question that they asked, it was all situational questions.
mm,
And so pulling from that information that you just provided, that then I was able to answer the question.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I am so really excited. I haven't even told Tamika. Have you told her?
Yes. Oh, she was the very first person.
Oh.
I was so stressed. I was so stressed during the exam. It said at the end, congratulations, something, 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 PMI. And I just freaked. And so I got up, I got my cell phone, and I sent a text message to me to Tamika, and I said, "What does it say when you pass?" Because I remember what it said when you fail. It says
Oh my
failed.
gosh. Oh.
Simply that. So, and so she said, "You made it." So I said, "You know what? You knew I passed before I did because I was just so numb afterwards." But I did listen to you at 7 o'clock the
Wow.
night before. I went to a friend's who had a gathering of ladies, and
Ah,
I enjoyed myself.
lovely. That's
I
it.
really did, and I slept very good that night before, and I got up and I prepped. I did have some stressful moments of getting there are glitches when you're dealing with the proctor and trying to get
Mhm.
on sometimes because I started at 8:30, but I actually didn't. She didn't let me into the room. I guess it was so many people until probably about 9:20, and my
Ooh,
exam was supposed to start at 9. But
wow.
she said, not a problem. I didn't lose any time or anything like that. But it was stressing me out because I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know why I couldn't get in. So be
Wow.
prepared for things like that. It happens. Don't be overstressed by it.
Wow. Michael is asking, was that at a testing facility or at home?
I did it at home, and that's why I was. I the first two times when I failed, I I went to the testing center, and this time I did it at home, and I just made sure I was set up in an area was quiet, and
Mhm.
there were actual distractions in my background for me,
Wow.
and it threw my mind off, and so I was
Oh,
stuck. But I had a lot of questions at the end to rush through, and so I just had to do it. I had
wow.
to make up that time.
Wow. And you got a number of questions here. So the first two that you talked about, those were last year, right? That was the last
Yes,
year's
yes,
exam.
yes.
Yeah. So you got
Yeah.
some questions in here. I don't know if you're looking at the chat,
Yeah,
but
I
you,
did see something. Why did I have to crunch? Because I just finished my master's program, my MPA, and I was burnt out from studying for there. And this was the absolute last day I could take the exam,
ooh,
the absolute last day. And
wow.
so that's why I said, okay, I'm a crunch, but Phil said, no crunching. Do not crunch.
That that video that I created, and a lot of people have been enjoying that video. I called it Agile Think. I did it for you because
Oh,
your
thank you.
exam, yeah, you were the only person who came clean and said my exam is on this date, and I'm like, well,
Yeah,
I have to create something for her because when you really told me that you're really serious about taking it, I'm like, oh,
yes,
then maybe I shouldn't invite Soraya to our class on Saturday, but you did show up.
yes.
You came for the class, and I hope it wasn't too overbearing, but I was really excited.
No,
So
you
you
were
know,
great.
yeah, and we got a question from Sima about, we're talking about ITTOs and outputs and a few things on Saturday, but we got a question. Were there a lot of questions about ITTOs, inputs, outputs, tools, technique?
You had to understand them, but in a hybrid situation, because there was part predictive, part agile, so you had to understand those. You do need to understand them,
Mm,
and you did run by some, pretty well with some inputs and outputs, and it helped a lot.
mm,
So yeah, definitely,
that's good.
definitely.
That's good to know.
And I
So,
didn't get below or whatever below. I did good on all of them. So
wow, lovely, lovely. I knew you were going to do it. And I'm really glad that you followed my advice to be calm because I've been telling folks in this class, please be calm, be cool, calm, and collected. Stuff will happen. And you see, it happened. You were action ready because it happened. How can you stay in the lobby for almost an hour and not freak out, not get crazy? It was stressful. That is
yeah,
stressful. My
yeah. So
goodness.
it was an outside stressors, not the test itself. It kind of poured into it, but once the question started, I just, you know, I knew if I was too stressed, I would definitely answer the questions wrong.
Hmm. You got a
So
question here, I think,
thank
from you
you.
got two. You see them?
Yeah. Well, I see a thank you. Let me see what the chat. Um,
What were your lessons learned from the exam? Oh, there's one from Sheena before that. That says, how long did you prep for the new exam?
I started about a month ago. I can't say I took any specific time because I had a lot going on in my life. So life will happen. That well, not death in the family, but near death. My
Wow.
mother-in-law was put into hospice. So
Ooh.
it's a lot going on in my
Wow.
life, and so and then with work and all that stuff. So I
Hmm.
listen. I'm very good. I'm a visual person, so all of those graphs and charts and everything that and when you wrote on the board on your videos, that was very helpful for me. So I was sucking all that information in
Hmm.
because sometimes reading was not that great for me to concentrate on. But
Yeah.
I did try. I started to read the Agile guide through and through. I didn't get to go all the way through, but I made sure everything that you said, I reviewed it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I'm making notes here because what you just said, it keeps reminding me. A lot of folks, a lot of us, we're visual learners, and just seeing, like you're saying, writing on the board and stuff, it's very important. I want to be doing a lot more of that. So thank you for that feedback. So Fabian says, what were your lessons learned from the exam? What did you do differently to prepare for the exam? So anything else?
This time I had you. I did, I went to a class. It was a training at a hotel before for a week training, and then I tried to look at their program but the style, your delivery, your passion, it draws people in. It drew me in, and so and then the necessity, and so I just took in the information that you provided, held on to it, and I did it.
And thanks to our friend Tamika, if she ends up watching
Yeah.
this, Tamika, we're so grateful that you connected us because I mean, look at it. Tamika came in last week. You were in her little lessons learned she gave, and now here you are a week later, just giving the
Yay!
same. Oh my gosh.
Great, but thank you so much, Phil. You're a tremendously great teacher.
Oh, thank you. And Sima says, I'm taking my exam on Sunday. I was thinking about you when Sima said she was going to take her exam on Sunday. So do you want to give our friends here who are taking the exam very soon a final, like a pep talk about what to do, lessons learned, final?
Persevere, yeah, just persevere. Listen to Phil, review the information. If you get the audios, listen to them in your car when you're not, you have other things. I mean, you just, what they say, drink the Kool-Aid or, do the whole process and just soak yourself in it because you don't have much time.
Hmm.
And not meaning not much time to study, but it's, it's going to be over soon. So just
Yeah.
throw yourself all into it. Don't get
Yeah.
stressed about it though, because stress diminishes your ability to retain information and recall.
Absolutely. So it's the last lap. That's what Soraya, beg your pardon, is saying. So Sheena, your question here, did you do a lot of practice exams? I know that you took one or two of ours.
I took a few of yours, and then I had previously. I just started going through some other questions that I had and reviewing the information. So I didn't do a whole lot of questions. Um,
You just drank the Kool-Aid. What I love about what
yeah,
you did, you showed up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like the folks in this class. Some of the folks in this class were there last week as well. So they're getting a double dose of Kool-Aid. And then you came on Saturday and
hmm,
you drank up more Kool-Aid as well. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, poor Soraya, I hope we're not draining her because in my mind, I knew that the moment we were done, I'm like, I'm sure she's going to go study. I'm sure she's
Yeah,
going to go
yeah,
study.
yeah. I did some, but by 7 o'clock, I shut it down.
Good,
I
good.
definitely shut it down at 7. Um, and the thing for me is, I could not at the last minute figure another definition. I could not pull
Mm,
in another definition. But what was important that I understood the concepts of how it played
mhm.
in altogether, and
Yeah.
understand that you're gonna have a lot of algebra on
Mm.
there. So
Whole
a
lot
lot
of
of
agile.
algebra. Yeah.
And let's be honest, you got a whole lot of experience and you've worked in government agencies and stuff. So you have experience in leadership for sure,
Yes.
right? And all
Yeah.
of those other concepts that are in the core PMBOK guide And then when you heard about this, it just made sense because it was so accessible and easy. And yeah, you did take one of our notorious mock exams, if I remember correctly. So that
Yeah, I
all of
was
that.
terrible at those exams. I was terrible on those exams. But I just said, I'm focusing too much on remembering small, details and not the whole concept of it. So,
Mhm.
but listen to Phil.
Well,
You can review this class right here. Do that first part. Everything was on there.
dear. Thank you. I'm
Thank you
really,
so much.
really glad that you came in because there's nothing like having another PMP in the building. Oh my
Thank you
goodness. I
all. And good
am
luck
so
to
good.
all of the rest of you. And was it Sheena that's taking the
Sheena,
exam? Yeah.
Sima.
Seema. Okay,
Yeah.
please. Good luck to you. You'll do great.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Take care
Bye-bye.
then. Cheers. Bye.